As of this recording, the canceled and canceled again YouTuber Shane Dawson has released 5 different episodes of his new podcast. Although you'd be forgiven for not realizing that they are all different episodes since the titles and thumbnails are nearly indistinguishable from one another. From conspiracy theories to Mandela Effects to conspiracy theories and Mandela Effects. Hey Shane, do you and the gang over at Mystery Inc. ever get around to exploring deja vu? Because your podcast is repeating the plot of Groundhog Day. I've identified several reliable tropes from the Payne Dawson Shodcast, as exemplified in episode 3. So steel your nerves for an hour of forced, hearty laughter, conversations that are both too long and too uncomfortable to sit through without cringing, accompanied most notably by the barrage of bitter insults that Shane hurls at his fiancée in a foolproof plan to come up as the likable one in this group. It's no surprise that we're looking at one of the world's worst podcasts in today's Shane Dawson flavored installment of Clip Breakdown. Hello television viewers, my name is Nick. Thank you so much for joining me once again on my channel for another installment of Clip Breakdown. This is the playlist where we dive into our favorite movies, TV movies, and other such content here on the web, and we break it down into little tiny show segments. Just like Shane Dawson's podcast, so that we can look at each individual clip and say, that's a 5-star TED Talk, and that's a no-no Nanette. And you can bet that this is a real chore to listen to. Oh, sweet Lord. I've been trying to get through each episode of Shane Dawson's podcast since it premiered because, you know, that's the brand I have built for myself here on the internet. Oh, God. Oh, that's grim. I think I just got an organ disease from talking about that. Anyway, it's impossible to sit through one of these episodes without being like, oh God, what are you guys talking about? What is going on here? It almost sets off my fight or flight senses. And that certainly happens a lot here in episode 3, as well as some of the other episodes that I'll pull in examples from. But before we get there, make sure you give this video a big thumbs up if you want to see even more Shane Dawson coverage. But most importantly, if you're new to my channel, I would love to have you click that subscribe button right over here. That way you never miss new videos from me. I upload 2 new ones every week. So turn on notifications by hitting the bell icon, and you'll always be the first to know. You'll always be the first to know when we're coming down the sled in the snow. That one little improvised rhyme took more creativity than you will find in any of these hour-long episodes from Shane and his terrible group of friends. One thing that a lot of people have noticed when looking at this podcast is Shane can't seem to help himself when it comes to hitting on Chris, his producer / camera operator and all of that. A theme I've also touched on in our past coverage of this content.
Chris, you always outshine us. What are you dressed as right now? You look so cool. Is that a knife?
It looks like a knife, but it is in fact.
Wow. Why am I turned on when you flip the knife out? What? Get a knife. Keep me interested.
What in the West Side Story? What kind of softcore casting couch for giggling twinks is Shane trying to orchestrate here? We're not even at minute 2 of this podcast yet. But honestly, Ryland, how is your fiancé supposed to even pretend to be attracted to you when we've got fashionista Chris sitting over there with his heavy outdoor jacket? He's sweating up a storm under there with armpits smelling more and more like a ham and cheese panini every minute. You better hold on to your man. We know you want this engagement to last, but do you dress like Danny Zuko though? Absolutely every episode of the Shane Dawson podcast has started with a style update where they're basically getting increasingly more obnoxious with their clothing choices. I'm like, why don't, instead of putting on a different t-shirt with a different pattern every episode, you find something interesting and diverse to talk about? All of these episodes feel like they could be just extensions of the same one. It follows the same exact formula and it's really not interesting ever once, not even a little. Unless maybe you're some kind of person who needs an older brother figure in your life. I don't. Also, it's just I feel so uncomfortable the way that Shane sort of is, frankly, pretty rude to his fiancée, to the point where it's you gotta get out of there, Ryland.
Thank you, Chris, for just coming to set looking beautiful. And thank you to Ryland for
Here he goes.
No, thank you to Ryland for being the asshole. I feel like it's fun.
Or for being supportive, for being loving, for showing up for you.
Totally. But also being that little bratty f***ing asshole that we love.
Psst, Chris, Your nervous laughter is actually just drawing more attention to Shane's emotional abuse. I don't know how Ryland keeps his cool while Shane is making fun of him for no reason. I'd be like, you better be speaking to your own reflection in my shiny forehead if you're talking about who's the biggest on this podcast. Even if we were watching this on mute, we would know Shane is the biggest jerk in the whole group. He's got the front of his hair combed into 19 different directions. For what? To make us think he has the lush hairline of Eddie Munster? Like that's the optical illusion your face shape is asking for. Okay. Get a fucking Sephora appointment and leave us alone with the way your hair looks. They'll teach you how to contour with powders, not your weird hair. Sorry, I'll move on. His hair has just been upsetting me lately. I don't know if Shane thinks it's cute that he's like always kind of flirting with Chris while being relatively mean at a constant rate to Ryland, but it literally makes me feel like I'm with a bunch of people that I don't want to be hanging out with anymore, and I'm just waiting for my Uber to come, and I'm like, oh my god, where the is that blue sedan?
Listen, I want to keep doing this show. It's honestly, and I'm not just saying this, and not because I'm drunk and also high on caffeine, and thinking about Chris murdering me, and you too. I'm saying,
wow, I can't imagine only catching the audio version of this podcast, because then I would miss all of the reaction shots that show Ryland being visibly annoyed by a hurtful comment from the love of his life. You can ask any of my ex-boyfriends. That forlorn eye roll is a white gay cry for help. Only one step down from going platinum for the summer, which, I don't know. Do you think it would look good on me? See, this is what happens when my therapist goes on vacation for 1 week. Maybe I should follow her and her family to the Bahamas like that shark from Jaws the Revenge. See, I'm still thinking perfectly clear. Let's move on. So anyway, Shane is trying to let us all in on his big dilemma of whether they want to live in LA or live in Colorado, which is, yeah, you know, the same rich person problem they've been about since the beginning. It's like, seems like you can afford both houses. Why don't you just shut up and live anywhere that I don't have to see you?
So my plan, our plan, sorry, I'll include you next time when I say it. Our plan. Wait a minute. Oh my God, I just realized something.
Here we go again. Fight with Shane and Ryland. Fight with Shane and Ryland. Shane and Ryland.
He went on Fiverr and was like, write a song about how we fight so that I can pick fights and have a theme song for our fights.
Wow, Shane, you're such a genius when it comes to branding. Toxic couples getting into petty arguments is exactly what people want to listen to on their drive to work. In pretty much every episode so far, Shane has unveiled new jingles for the different segments that he wants to have on the podcast. And it always comes with the deep disappointment when you realize, oh no, that's something he wants to talk about every episode.
Chris is cool, he's from Peru. His Peruvian facts are fun for me and you.
When Shane was having Chris edit this, I bet he was like, let's do a slideshow of your hottest, sexiest pictures. You know, like from when you were still in high school. I'll just remind everybody that Shane went into this podcast literally with no concept, just being like, we don't know what this is yet. And then somehow landed on conspiracy theories and Mandela Effects. But that actually only comprises around 13 minutes of the total 1 hour and 10-minute episode. And the rest of it are these types of really kind of hard to pin down a theme of them all type of segments, like Chris giving a fact about his native Peru, or the brother Jared giving some sort of life hack for saving money. To me, it's very hard, it's very amorphous. Like, we don't even know what Shane Dawson's brand is anymore without him having racist scandals attached to him. I guess he's trying to be like a paranormal type of person, but also everything else in the world, like a horror movie guy. What is your thing, Shane? Can you at least focus on a thing? Something other than just being mean to the person you're gonna marry? Oh, and this is where I literally almost was losing my lunch when I was driving down the street. They get into talking about the difference between being a grower and a shower, and you know, you're gonna find out who is who in this conversation, whether you like it or not. This feels a little juvenile.
I take pride in my grow because I feel like it grows a lot.
Yeah.
Like it's almost scary. It's like,
Same.
whoa, what the
While I have no doubt that the appropriate reaction to seeing Shane Dawson's penis is, whoa, what the I never wanted to picture it growing freakishly huge and absorbing a movie theater like the Blob. Now, I've got to warn you, taking in more than just a few minutes of this podcast may make you want to change your name and flee to another country. But hey, that's just one of the many reasons to love the sponsor of today's video, Babbel. Babbel is the best language app for me to start speaking a new language in as little as 3 weeks. And there's no better time to start learning a new language than during the summer so that you can get out there and have even more adventures. But I also just love the self-improvement side of challenging my brain to think and speak in a different language. It also gives me a better idea of what many other people in America have to go through learning English as a second language. And what I love about Babbel is that it's very conscientious of my time while still being effective. It teaches real-world practical conversations for things like travel or business or relationships, so you can get out into the world and start making new connections. Babbel has short 10-minute courses that allow me to get a lot of learning done in small pockets of time. Plus, Babbel has ways to learn that really fit in with the way that we consume media today. There are lessons, podcasts, videos, and even games. You can even access live classes with top teachers. I especially love how Babbel uses really impressive speech recognition to ensure that accents and pronunciations are on point. Right now, I'm learning a few phrases that could help me out in a jam. For instance, when I can't find my gate at the airport, ¿me puede ayudar? Can you help me? Tengo un problema. I have a problem. I've lost my wallet. Perdí mi cartera. This was me in Fort Lauderdale, although I cried in English at that point. If you're ready to start speaking Spanish in as little as 3 weeks, then click the link in my description to get 65% off your subscription, or scan the QR code on the screen right now. Now, let's go back to the podcast. By the way, this segment started with I'm about to give advice to some of the Instagram followers who submitted questions, but somehow we swerved off into Shane's land, which is not a town you want to be in after dark, I'm guessing. Then we spend a good 12 minutes, I want to say, where it's just several minutes of men talking about their penises in different ways, and I have the suspicion that it's making at least 2 of them a little horny, so let's move on, please. But don't be sad, because it seems like Uncomfortable Penis Conversations is just another recurring segment that you can catch every week here on the Shane Dawson podcast. Who could forget this gem from episode 2?
But a couple comments, like one that really stood out to me that made me feel good, and I quote, "As a bear myself, listening to Jared talk about his sweaty, stinky balls got me real excited." And I thought, dude, never in my life did I think that I'd be able to talk about my sweaty, smelly balls, and out there someone is getting excited about it.
Along with thousands of other people who are getting ready to throw up about it. Who even is the intended audience for this podcast? Sexually repressed men who are too shy to show off for each other in the locker room? The almost desperate level of masculinity here is giving me guys being dudes.
What's better than this? Guys being dudes.
At this point, the group starts talking a little bit about their insecurities, about their bodies in the locker room and this and that. Shane even mentions that the comments about his weight are what upsets him most, and he feels like as soon as he revealed to the internet that that's something he had an insecurity about, the sooner they latched onto it and it became all they talk about and make fun of. But I don't think I've ever heard anyone make fun of Shane Dawson's weight as much as he does. It's not like he just mentioned he was insecure about his weight once and that opened Pandora's box for them to forever make that what they ridicule him for. Like, he won't stop mentioning how he thinks he's fat, he thinks he's a pig, he thinks he's that. It's depressing for us to hear too. We could all just shut the up, right? But I mean, I can't speak for every listener out there. I'm sure there are people who get some value out of hearing men talk openly about their body issues, so I'm not saying that that's something we don't need more of in the world. In fact, it might be admirable if that's the way Shane started branding this podcast, as like an open discussion between men. Not that I ever looked at Shane Dawson as like some sort of male role model for people. The way he talks to his future husband certainly doesn't make him feel like Captain America in my eyes.
There's towel maneuvers that you could do. You could just leave your towel and put your boxers on.
You're not a part of this.
Ouch, Shane. Quick, squeeze a horribly forced laugh in there to soften the blow for the audience.
You know,
Great, yeah, that felt so much less mean-spirited. Shane goes on to tell a really long story about his engorged testicles being a source of embarrassment during gym class, and then he goes seamlessly into the story of how when he lost his virginity the first time, he was afraid of letting the girl see his genitals. Is the conspiracy theory of this episode that hell is real and it's a place called Earth? Because I'm starting to subscribe to that one.
And then she just pulls the blanket away, and my shriveled up, sticky dick dick is like
Shane,
right there.
What
and
are you doing?
Well, for starters, he's making sure I'll never be able to enjoy a sticky bun for the rest of my life, because now that word will forever be associated with Shane Dawson's shriveled penis, as it hides threateningly underneath a blanket. I guess he really is getting started on that horror movie he wanted to write, because that's an antagonist. And frankly, this is the exact type of storytelling that Shane has already gotten into trouble with on his podcast, because he'll start going off on some story, he gets some sort of reaction, which to me sounds mostly like nervous laughter, but to him probably reads as like being a comedy genius. And so then he starts adding on and saying more and more stuff and getting more visual with it. And then pretty soon, he's made some horrible joke about using his cat as a rag. I just feel like he's created the exact same circumstances that have put him into hot water before, which is like being surrounded by a group of yes men who are quite literally like yucking up everything that he does. Jared's no help because in the Pride episode, he was constantly saying things that felt borderline homophobic, but always under the guise of, as long as Chris says I'm allowed to say that, it's okay. Like, no, it's not all right, mama. And then every other sentence is just like, I want to throw up. I want to throw up. I'm not a 12-year-old boy. They talk about using a tissue to soak up sweat between their butt cheeks. Shane loves to grill Ryland on his past hookups by being like, when you were a slut and hooking up on Grindr, what was people penis size like? It's like, are you guys okay over there? Are you gonna be okay over there? Also, Shane just went off on this huge long thing about his first time having sex, and then he's like, the thought of you, Ryland, being with someone else literally makes me want to die. And it's like, how come you're allowed to talk at length and at your leisure about your past sexual rendezvous, but anytime you even get an idea that Ryland hooked up with other people and yeah, they were probably hotter than you want to go shoots and ladders on the whole town. Shane also just like generally expresses doubt that Ryland even is attracted to him. He's like, how could you possibly be attracted to my huge arms? And Ryland's like, because I don't have the body dysmorphia for you that you do. I don't know what to tell you. What I would like to know is what Shane finds attractive about Ryland. He seems to never ever give any examples of things he actually likes about Ryland. He's like, oh no, you're so supportive of me. You're always so sweet and kind to me. And you're always, you remind me not to care what other people think about. I'm like, okay. Those all sound like really great things that he gives to you. Anything about him that you just like without it being a reflection on you? Not that I'm Dr. Phil in this nature, but like, I know a pile of shit when I see one. Finally, after skipping over a half hour of all of that infuriating nonsense that we can't get into it. We finally get down to the Mandela Effects that Shane believes will blow our minds, that are completely confirmed with this foolproof experiment.
Now these ones, they're kind of dumb, but I'm not gonna lie, they did freak me out a little bit when I saw the evidence.
Look at all of them are pretty dumb. These ones?
Ooh, Jared, don't make fun of Shane's Mandela effects and conspiracy theories. That's the only thing he knows how to make content about anymore. If you make him feel self-conscious about that, then it's really gonna be a full hour of you four serving up penis soup. That's not the Sunday I'm trying to have, okay? At first, I found it truly baffling how Shane made the titles and thumbnails for every podcast episode so similar. But then I realized, wait, that's what he's done in all of his videos of the past. It's just the constant retreading of whatever concept he realizes will get him some sort of reaction. It was all shocking racial caricatures and nasty little song parodies. And then when that fell out of favor, it became relentless taste test videos. And now I guess we're onto the era of conspiracy theories and supernatural phenomena, which apparently comes with the side of his brother's sweaty balls. This is truly the land of plenty. The earth-shattering conspiracy theories here were how in a blind taste test, people would always choose Pepsi over Coca-Cola. Unless they knew which was which, then they would choose Coca-Cola because they subconsciously like it better. The branding, whatever. That I don't think even has anything to do with anything. What is the conspiracy there? That people have taste buds? This is why they do a blind taste test, so that you don't get influenced by the advertising, for one, obviously being much longer and having a stronger connection to American culture. That's not a conspiracy theory. You're just saying. The other one is that the Cheetos taste better depending on what size bag you eat it out of. And I'm just like, again, what would the conspiracy be there? To have an inconsistent product?
The family size bag one is better. Oh, and it's the most expensive. Interesting. I don't quite understand the theory though. Is the theory that the bigger the bag, the more you pay, the better it is? I don't know. Well, I don't know what the theory is, but it's interesting. I mean, they're definitely different. Well, that was fun. There you guys go. That was my food conspiracies. I'd say they kind of flopped.
I'm not surprised that you would say that, since it's also what you said about everyone's weird penis in that room during this episode. Why are you asking me what the theory is? You're the one who brought this to your show. I don't know why the fucking PepsiCo would want Cheetos to taste better in a larger bag, because here's what, they wouldn't. It wouldn't make sense. It could have to do with millions of other things, like your stupid brain giving you the placebo effect because taste is purely subjective, or it could have to do with the amount of air in the bag, allowing some to stay more fresh or soft or chewy than others. We don't know. You figure it out for yourself, but don't position it like it's some sort of grand mystery, because we know that it's not, and it just makes watching this whole podcast feel as pointless as the answers you're trying to ascertain. And on top of that, you've told highly descriptive stories about your genitals. And that's why after I upload this video, I'm going to delete it off my hard drive, throw my laptop into a rainforest, and then waterboard myself in the shower until I fall asleep. When does that therapist of mine get back from vacation? God damn it. I hope I've satisfied your curiosity about the Shane Dawson podcast, because I don't know if I'll ever be able to sit through another episode of that again. It's been highly requested, and I'm glad we're here, but I'm also glad that I'll never have to meet any of those people in real life. Here's hoping. The whole podcast, I don't know why, it just makes me feel like I'm stuck after school at my friend's house, and his weird older brother is there, and I just want to go home because they're talking nasty. And that's the Shane Dawson experience. So let me know if there's any other parts of the other episodes that I should be discussing here in future episodes. Also, don't forget to give this video a big thumbs up if you want to see even more from the Shane Dawson archives. I shudder to think. But most importantly, if you're new to my channel, I would love to have you click that subscribe button right over here. That way you never miss new videos from me. I upload 2 new ones every week, so turn on notifications and you'll always be the first to know when, oh God, when Shane's penis is disrupting your dreams again. You guys are all the greatest. I will see you next time.